Let's go.
Go, go, go. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Hold My Beard Marketing Podcast, the only podcast that has Mitch and Jake. I'm, of course, Jake. This is Mitch. What's up?
My name's Mitch.
It is.
I do marketing stuff. I like long walks on the beach and making the intros to our show very weird.
It wouldn't be an episode of Hold My Beard without a completely destroyed intro.
Yeah. Speaking of like people actually listening and stuff too, like I found out that one of my clients actually listens to our podcast. I was like, "Wow, you're one of the 19 people that listens to us."
Now we'll get there. Joe Rogan, we're coming for you.
We're coming, man. We're going to get you.
Well, if you've never been here before, this is a marketing podcast all about the news, the updates, what's going on, what's happening in our agencies, what we're looking at from a marketing perspective. So if you want to know what's going on in the marketing world, this is the place to be. Hit that follow button on your favorite platform. Let's dive into it. I got some great news articles for us to cover this week. Nothing more to do but to do it. So let's get it done.
Do it.
Kicking it off, real cool, real simple. Beanie Babies, Barbies, and more. McDonald's has some new collector's cups that they're doing, just leveraging nostalgia. And really what I want to talk about was nostalgia as a marketing strategy.
Great idea. I mean, it's going to bring back those of us with children that love McDonald's and like we'll want the cups because like we grew up with Beanie Babies and like a certain kind of Barbie and everything. Like, dude, I remember when those things were just like so hot to buy and you wanted all like your sister or mom was buying Beanie Babies like they were going out of style and then you had a giant pile. I think it's a great way to bring people back, the older generations back.
Yeah, I mean, my wife actually, she has the full Disney collector cup from like the mid 90s. You know what I'm talking about? Like Lion King and Aladdin and all that stuff. So collector's cups, man. Not only is the content on the cup nostalgic, but having the cup itself is nostalgic. So
yeah.
It's really smart. And I think that nostalgia right now in particular is very, very, very powerful.
Reminds us of the good old days.
Oh,
brings back the childhood memories kind of thing. To me, at least, that's the way kind of I think would make us older people, as I was lumped into yesterday during our mastermind call, makes us older people reminisce about the good old days.
I don't know if you follow Pirate Software on TikTok or Twitch. He's a fantastic creator. He talks about all kinds of things, though, not just he's a game designer, worked for Blizzard for many years, but he's got a lot of really interesting takes on stuff. And he did a video the other day about how to know when you've aged. And it's based off of YouTube's targeting brackets for ad targeting.
Oh,
he's like, you've aged when you move up a targeting bracket according to YouTube ad targeting.
Very true.
But nostalgia is super powerful. I saw it in play this weekend, actually. I took a couple days off and went to a board game convention. Yes, that's right. I went to a board game convention.
That's right. Yeah, you were there.
And one of the big hotnesses at the show was a collectible trading card game about Neopets.
Neopets. It sounds familiar, but I can't.
So maybe you're a little too old. For Neopets.
I almost dropped a word that
but Neopets was a kind of in that like Pokemon era, but it was a website you logged into. It was like Pokemon plus Tamagotchis, where you had to log in.
I remember Tamagotchis.
Feed your pets, and then you could use them
for
different activities, like small little flash games and stuff like that. Yeah, so the IP's been dead for many, many, many years, and now all of a sudden, Neopet trading card game was one of the hotnesses of the show.
Interesting.
So, nostalgia sells.
Well, especially if you think about it, just one last quick thought, like everything comes back in style. Like just look at like clothing.
Yeah.
And hair. Everything comes full circle.
Oh, man. I mean, even this next article here. So the Beetlejuice sequel is coming out. They're doing a first ever digital theater viewing of Beetlejuice in Roblox inside of a video game.
That's like some Inception right there.
I mean, I'm old enough to remember Second Life. I don't know if you remember Second Life back in like
Yes.
2000, 2002, maybe, which was
Mhm.
a video game where you could pretty much do anything. I mean, it had a
Mhm.
whole like scripting and like design system in it. So if there was something you could dream up, like you wanted to dream up a gun and design it and code it to make it work in the game, that was part of the game. And then you could sell it to other players.
Dwight Schrute made a replica of his actual life in the show The Office in Second
There
Life.
you go. So, living online is not a new concept for sure, but it's really interesting to see a virtual Fandango theater inside of a video game that's selling real tickets to watch a real movie coming out in theaters.
They've gotta be trying to target certain age and demo for that, for like the Roblox thing. That's gotta be a kid thing.
Maybe, but also there's a lot of parents that grew up with Beetlejuice as like a
Yeah.
nostalgic movie for them whose kids play Roblox and they might play Roblox with them. I don't know. Seems it's unique.
It is very unique, and I'm horrible at Roblox. My 6-year-old is way better than me.
I don't think I've ever
I almost
played.
get motion sickness. It's dude, like at my old age, you get like motion sick playing Roblox. I'm like, huh?
My kid's on the Among Us train, so
Oh yeah, Roblox is next. Just
just
wait.
wait. I'm keeping her in Minecraft as long as possible.
Yep, been there, done that. Minecraft is the gateway drug to Roblox.
um, Diving into real marketing news, at least for the platforms that we typically use, Google Ads is transitioning out of smart campaigns into Performance Max. No more smart campaigns.
Well, screw you, Google.
I mean, were smart campaigns good?
No.
So no change.
Smart campaigns were basically, I mean, there was no targeting. I mean, you gave it a couple of keywords and like a couple headlines, and it was kind of a sneaky way, really. If like a business owner, say a small business owner, started a Google Ads account, it would push you into creating an ad, which was essentially a smart campaign. Then they did roll those all into PMAX, but you can still make a smart campaign right now. You just have to choose no guidance, and then you can create a smart campaign. It's good for getting like a rash of phone
Mm-hmm.
calls, for like about a week, and then it dies off. So they weren't really that great anyways. I mean, we'd get into accounts and see people running smart campaigns and they're like, yeah, we're not getting any results. I'm like, well, it's because you're using a smart campaign and they're not really smart. Bet you run traffic ads on Facebook too. But switching it to PMAX, it's better. I don't know how much better it would be for like the small business owner or like anybody trying to do it themselves that doesn't really know that you still need to feed a PMAX campaign, keywords, custom audiences, affinities, and market. Like otherwise, you're just throwing spaghetti at the wall. But yeah.
I always called smart campaigns spent campaigns because it made sure it spent your money.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yes, it will do that for sure.
So big news this week. Google lost an antitrust case. What does this mean? Let me break it down a little bit here.
Yeah.
So, tons of big digital companies get sued for antitrust law all the time.
Yeah.
Facebook, Twitter, everybody's been sued. They've always won the case. They always come back
Hmm.
and they show that there's enough competitor value, that they're not doing practices that push people out of the market. And then this happens. And usually, when one domino falls in a legal stance, a lot more dominoes fall afterwards. So, what happened in this case is that Google got sued for having a monopoly on search, which we all know is true.
Hmm.
Over
Hmm.
80% of all searches done on the internet are done through Google.
Hmm.
And the specifics of the campaign was that Google was paying Apple and Samsung to be the default search engine on their devices. That's the angle that this lawsuit came in from.
Hmm.
And basically the prosecutor was able to prove that because of that and the distribution of cell phones, between Android, which is obviously Google, Apple devices,
Mhm.
and Samsung devices, that they had an undeniable majority in that.
100%.
So, what's going to happen from this? Well, probably a lot of nothing initially. Um, in this lawsuit, one of the interesting pieces that came out was that Apple has their own search engine that they've been building and not using.
We okay, yeah, duh. Like we knew that was coming.
So, my bet is that in order to adjust this, Apple's going to drop their own search engine.
Okay, conspiracy hat. Do you think Apple had anything to do in the background with like, hey, we need to uncouple from Google as our main search engine, and so we can pop ours on the iPhones? Because technically, Apple has a monopoly as well. Like that's the other funny part to me is they're over 51% market share of cell phones. They have a monopoly as well. Conspiracy.
I don't know. iSearch, probably people would use it.
So, what are the potential ramifications do you think that could come from this if, after all appeals and everything, this stands?
Well, Google is going to need to back off of paying Samsung and Apple, which is going to open up an opportunity for someone else to buy that market share. My prediction is that OpenAI is going to
Mm,
sweep in,
which is Microsoft.
which is Microsoft. Not really in the phone game anymore. Rest in
Right.
peace, my 1080. Dude, that phone was so good.
RIP.
That phone was so good.
Mm,
But I think what will happen, this is my gut guess as to how this will fall out. Google will lose those exclusive contracts with both of those cell phone providers. Apple will launch their search engine, and then ChatGPT, Search GPT will end up claiming the Samsung pathway. And so now it will be a three-way split from mobile search for default search. This is just default search. You can go in
yeah.
and change it yourself. No problem at all. It's just
Right.
the default on the phone.
But does anybody really change the default? I mean, it's like you open up Safari, it's defaulted to, I think, Google. If you use Google Chrome, it's defaulted to Google. The only one that's defaulted to Bing is Microsoft Edge. Who uses that?
A lot more
Old
people than
people.
you expect now.
Well, it's a good browser, but like I would still default to Google. It's just kind of interesting if talking about default search options. I don't know that many people. I don't feel like I have no facts. It's just a gut feeling that most people would be too lazy to figure out how to do that. But at the same time, like probably the majority of searches are mobile
Mhm.
anyways. I totally agree with you that there's going to be a three-way race for this. Like I would love to be a fly on the wall at Google headquarters and like see like whatever freaking out they're doing because they've got to be freaking out to a degree. Like they got two competitors that are going to be coming up. They haven't had that for, I mean, what, 20 years, 15 years?
Let's just say, doing the math based off of the cell phone distribution, that Apple and Samsung make up what, 65 to 70% of the market.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 60 to 70% of all searches that they're getting on mobile. They're losing the ad revenue on that overnight.
It's huge. So, quick Google search, the irony, shows that as of February 2024, mobile searches accounted for 58% of searches, while desktops were accounted for about 40.
Okay.
So, interesting.
But of
I
that
don't, again, this is,
58%,
but that was Google's SGE.
of that 58%, how many of those devices are Apple and Samsung devices?
I didn't Google that
Yeah.
far.
So it's going to be a major blow to Google revenue. Expect
Yeah,
your Google ad prices to go way up.
way up.
Way up. But with the new search engines, you might find a what do you call it? A blue lake and a bloody ocean? Blue pond.
Blue pond inside of a bloody ocean. Yeah.
Blue pond. So
Mm-hmm.
just be aware of this, that this is happening, even though this has nothing to do with advertising and marketing directly. Indirectly, this is going to make a huge shift in the advertising space, because the number one search on Bing search is Google.
Yeah.
So it's not like people are going to stop using Google. That's not what's going to happen, but it's going to hurt it somewhat. So
Yeah.
Well,
Interesting. Fun
we'll
times
see.
ahead.
And then also, of course, because an antitrust case was now lost at this major of a level, expect to see more.
Yeah, because they've always like Google. I feel like this is an antitrust lawsuit with multiple times a year with countries, other companies. Like it's so common. All of these platforms, like you said.
Well, we talk about, Google search being such a monopoly. Can we be
Hmm.
real that YouTube is the monopoly?
Oh, 100%.
Like,
100%.
name the next video platform that you've ever watched a video on.
Vimeo,
But like
but very
very
rarely.
rarely, and only if someone sends you a link. You're not going to Vimeo
100%.
to just like, oh, I want to find some meme videos today. Like,
Yeah, if you want long form and video podcasts, like you're going to YouTube.
and
Short
story.
form, TikTok dominates, but I mean, it's even then. Actually, they probably don't dominate. Google's going to have a monopoly on YouTube Shorts or on Shorts because of YouTube Shorts. They're going to have a monopoly on long form, even though TikTok allows it. But nobody wants to sit there and watch like 30-minute video on their phone. It's small, it's
Yeah.
annoying, but yeah, that's a huge monopoly. Be interesting to see what happens to other platforms.
If I was in charge of it and I worked as a major player at Spotify, I'd make a video play right now.
Mm, dude, I didn't even think about them. Yeah, because they do. If you can watch video on their video of the podcast on the shoot. Okay,
And then just do like
yeah,
a $3 extra surcharge on my Spotify account for ad free video.
all right, yeah, I like it.
So
Spotify, hit up your boy.
so anyways, in other news, this one caught me off guard. I wasn't ready for this one. Uber says it's going to make more than $1 billion in ad revenue this year.
Wow.
So Uber Eats is driving this. People are advertising their restaurants or convenience stores and things on Uber Eats. And apparently
Hmm.
it's making them a ton of money.
Wow, $1 billion in ad revenue. That's wow. Makes sense. I mean, if you're a restaurant, you need to be on Uber Eats. Who are the other food delivery?
Grubhub.
Uh, yeah,
I can't remember what the other one is.
yeah, I can't either.
I have another one on my phone.
Well, because only certain restaurants are on certain channels
Exactly.
or certain apps. So, uh, yeah, my wife and I are the same way too. We got Uber Eats, and then we got Grubhub, and then I forget what the third one is. But um, that's a little shocking. But at the same time, the restaurants need to do something. They need to be where people are looking for it. So it's kind of like a Google ad. Like there's hunger intent. I need to be in front of them so they can see our food and go, "Ooh, that looks yummy."
I'm honestly surprised that Google hasn't taken any plays from Waze and done geolocated specific like stoplight ads.
That'd be
Because that's what
smart.
Waze does. You stop at a stoplight and it pops up a tiny little ad at the top for a business right by
Huh.
that stoplight.
Google surprises me a lot lately with what they haven't done.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like they're going to be like they're too big that they can't do what everybody else is doing. Or they're just neglecting it. Like we're the giants, screw you guys. But like that's the story of David and Goliath. Like, yo, they could take you down. Interesting. If Uber, the actual just Uber app did that as well while you're getting drove around.
Ooh. Uber, hit him up.
That's a good idea.
One of these days it's gonna pan. Somebody's
Yeah.
gonna call us. Google ad bug mislabels demand gen campaigns as display network. Just a funny bug.
Oh, Google. Google. Go home, you're drunk.
Oh my gosh. If you had weird stuff with your demand gen campaigns, which I like, Mitch doesn't, that's okay. He can be wrong. Um
Hmm. Hmm. It's not one way to skin the cat.
there's two ways.
There's two
But the
ways.
second way you don't
There's
want to Google that. Uh Google ads again, just they're suffering. They're adding a 2.5% surcharge to ads on Canadian advertisers.
I saw that and didn't dig much into it. Is that because of the exchange rate or what? Like that's the international interchange rates. They also started doing this crappy thing where if you spend enough, I don't know if you've seen this, but if you spend enough money and I don't know the dollar amount, you essentially have to have a bankroll inside of your Google Ads account. They no longer just want to keep charging you. So it's kind of to me like the credit card fees are finally adding up, which if you're worried about credit card fees, it makes me feel like you're having money issues. Something's up. Like I know credit card fees suck, but at the same time, like, dude, Google should be able to eat that.
Yeah. So this is not new. Austria, Spain, France, UK, India, Italy, Turkey, and a couple others already have this fee, but they're
Mm.
just tapping into another market.
Does it say anything about like what the justification is and like why?
Jurisdiction specific surcharges. Regulatory operating costs or DST fees may be charged in addition to your advertising costs every time an ad is served in specific jurisdictions, regardless of where your actual business is located. These surcharges are associated with the cost of doing business when an ad is served in these jurisdictions.
So, complying with digital service tax legislation in Canada. So it seems like it's a law they have to comply with that is costing them extra money. So they're like, "Hey, we're going to pass the buck to you guys because you dumb dumbs voted Trudeau in. Like, congratulations."
Oh my
I mean, he's a
gosh.
handsome fellow, but he's dumb. I love you, Canada. I love you. Don't get mad.
Oh, yeah. Dang, I want a maple bar now, like really bad.
Oh God, that sounds good.
Canada, good for maple syrup and hockey. Um,
This is true.
in a more lighthearted moment here, Hyundai,
Hyundai.
Hyundai, however you want to say it,
Hyundai.
splits their CMO role into a creative and a performance position. I think this is brilliant. I think this is
Yeah.
way too long coming because if you're a CMO in any kind of sizable business, the issue that you constantly have is that you are kind of reporting to the CFO. There is a
Mm-hmm.
marketing budget that you live in, and you are held accountable for all of those dollars. But when it comes to marketing, the best marketing is brave. The best marketing is bold. The best marketing takes risk. And since every dollar in that marketing budget is being accounted for by the CFO, reduces your likelihood that you'll take a risk. And so
Mm-hmm.
by splitting the CMO role into somebody who's responsible for creative and kind of not worried about the numbers, so to speak, because the other CMO is worried about performance and numbers and rev and all of that stuff, it kind of frees that person up to do stuff,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
which
I like it.
hypothetically could result in better advertising for Hyundai.
Well, it's hard to have those two trains of thoughts as well inside of one person, like being conscious of this, but also wanting to be creative and take roles and or not roles, but risks. Um, those are hard mentalities to switch back and forth from.
Oh, absolutely. When you're doing a creative campaign, but then the backside of your brain is like, but what about the cost? What if it doesn't
Yeah.
work? You know?
Mm-hmm.
And it's absolutely death to creative.
Huge, huge death to creative.
I mean, that's why
You can't put creative people in a box.
that's why I always look at Harmon Brothers. I've talked about them many times before. They're some of my
Mm-hmm.
favorites. Purple Mattress, Poopery, Squatty Potty. Their contract is here is the price. You have zero creative control from beginning to end. You're going to get what you're going to get from us. And that's the end of it. You paid for that.
Yeah.
It totally releases them. Like, obviously, they still have a budget, right? But anything within that budget is okay.
Mm-hmm. Well, and you're paying creatives to make creatives, so you should just let them do their freaking job and what they believe will work for your
Mm-hmm.
brand.
Mm-hmm.
So micromanaging a creative, which like a CFO can micromanage a CMO that's trying to do both. So keeping that micromanager away from the actual creative person is brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
Like that they can actually thrive and maybe even come up with like extremely creative and brave and riskier
Mm-hmm.
um, campaigns without that person always looking over their shoulder going, well, but wait, what's that going to cost? And then they'll be able to probably come up with ideas inside that box knowing that, okay, cool, but I don't have somebody breathing down my back the entire
I
time.
think I think what we're
I
witnessing
wish we could do
here
that to all of our clients.
Yeah, I think what we're witnessing here is the birth of a new C-level position, which is gonna be
Hmm.
chief branding officer or chief creative officer, something like that, and I think this is gonna become
Oh,
more popular.
100%. Well, that's funny you say that because that's something I've been thinking about even inside of my agency as we're growing, going, okay, we're having to do more and more creatives. Like the agency world is just changing. If you don't have creative strategy, if you can't make creative, if you can't get products and make whatever video needs to be made, like you're gonna have a hard time in the coming years. But my thought in the last couple of weeks has been like, I'm gonna need to have a whole separate department where it's like head of creative, and then the creatives are separate from the button pushers.
Mhm.
You can have some that overlap, but a lot of times data oriented people aren't as creative. Like I'm very data oriented. I could come up with the ideas, but then I go to my team who are the creative ones and go, make, like, here's my idea. I can't make it myself. Make it better. Do good. Yeah. So I totally agree with you. This is going this it kind of solidifies where I think what I've been thinking agencies and marketing is going to be going in the next couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that we've gone through with our agency, uh, and I don't remember who coined this term, so if you coined it, let me know, spank me, whatever.
Ooh.
But marketing dies in committee, meaning that
Yeah,
great marketing cannot be achieved by committee. It gets too watered
sure.
down, it gets too destroyed. And I've seen this in my own business. We do a lot of SEO for a lot of companies. And I can tell you that the companies that go, "Thanks so much for your work. See your report next month. Keep going. We have no notes." They do better. I'm going through this with a client right now who is nitpicking and micromanaging every single thing that we do in SEO. And guess what? His growth is slow.
Mhm. Mhm. Did you see my recent video, speaking of, like, nitpicking, and I was showing results of a client that did $1,000,000 a month, and, like, right in the first 10 seconds, it's like, "If you stay out of our way, this is what happens." Kinda hinting that, like, if you micromanage your agency, it's a lot worse for you.
Yeah. I mean, I'm terrible with dollars and cents. It's just not something I've ever
Mhm.
been good with. I let my accounting team just handle it. I don't touch
Yeah.
it. And if they come back and say, "Hey, you can't do this, you can do this," I'm just going to go, "Okay. You told me.
Mhm.
You're the one who's in it. You
Mhm.
know." Um and it's worked out well for us.
No, you let the experts do it.
Mhm.
I mean, that's what my bookkeepers and accountants are for too. I don't know. I know what's in the bank account. I know, like, they send me reports, and I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool. We're doing good or we're doing bad."
Yeah, it's tough, especially if you're a small business owner and you wear a ton of hats. You get used
Yeah.
to micromanaging. It's just part of it. And
Yeah.
if you're a small business owner, I would encourage you, if you've never done it. Do I have the book here? I don't, but there is a great book called 10x is easier than 2x. And in the
Mhm.
book, it takes you through an exercise where you write down all your responsibilities. And then it says, okay, circle 10 that only you can do that move the needle. You circle 10.
Mhm.
It says, great, cross out 5 of those. So you cross out 5. It says, great, cross out 2 more. So you get down to 3 things. Everything else on that list, go get someone who's better at it than you.
Mhm.
And while that's
100%.
terrifying to turn over that kind of stuff, if you can find the right people, if you can find the person who's better at it than you, you're going to just accelerate.
Well, and it's, yeah, there, I mean, this could be a whole podcast episode in of itself, but where it's, like, hustle culture doesn't exist anymore, but, like, those of us that came up in hustle culture, because I'm old, like, hustle culture was a thing, and that was part of hustle culture. It's like we did everything, and you basically ingrained in your brain that, like, I'll just do it. I'll just do it. And that's something that I still fight with. But unloading my bookkeeping onto an actual company that does it, and my accounting freed up a ton of time that, like, now I don't have to go through every week or try to remember, or then get a month behind and be like, oh shit, now I got to catch up. Now it takes me 5 times as long. So now I'm not spending that time on the business, making the business grow. My executive assistant, she's amazing, handles my inbox for the most part, my calendar, proposals, onboarding, so much stuff that we've seen more exponential growth because it frees up my time to do more important things. So the other way I look at it is, like, to your point, what can you outsource? What can you automate? And then like, what do I have to do? But like all the stuff I can outsource, as long as I can make up that revenue, which I promise you, you'll be able to. Like, don't be afraid. You'll be able to get rid of it. Just give it to somebody else to do. And as long as they can do 80% as good as you, 75% as good as you, you're golden.
Yep, absolutely. We are at that time of the show.
Oh, do we get to go in the closet?
If you've been here before, this is going to be 7 minutes in heaven. If you haven't been here before, here's what we're going to do. We take a user submitted website, which if you want to get in the list, please go over to our YouTube channel and drop it in the comments. We'd love to tackle your website. But what we're going to do is we're going to spend 7 minutes lovingly roasting a website provided by you, hopefully to provide improvements, adaptations, help your website perform better, some CRO on it. So today we've got a fun one out of Florida. Let me pull up my timer here so that we, know when to finish.
I'll go 9 minutes.
You can sometimes. You've been getting better. You've been getting better. All right, so here is 7 minutes in heaven with creativegroundsfl.com. Go.
I do like the video. I do wish there was. Is it scrolled up all the way? There's there really no logo?
It's scrolled up all the way.
Okay, I kind of wish there was a logo.
Helps with the branding recognition.
But at the same time, like experts in artificial turf, masters of outdoor living. Okay, so they do say what they do there. That's artificial turf, and I like the video because it showcases like their work. Like that looks to me like legitimate grass.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, I'd probably hire a professional agency or go look at some videos on TikTok on how to shoot pan overs and stuff because it's a little motion sicky to me. But the video's nice. A couple of just like layout things. Your header should go full width. You're gonna need to center that text in that box. Your padding's all kinds of screwy, and the videos really should go edge to edge on the browser.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that the padding at the bottom of that last sentence is like 1.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I pretty much know where to click, book your free estimate. And then obviously another off ramp here of exploring financial options. Scrolling down the page, here we go. Just another little gallery section of images of past work. Looks beautiful. I love turf. I'm from Arizona. Screw grass.
Dude, grass wouldn't live down there.
There are people who try.
That's insane.
Woman-owned business. This could actually be featured further up the page, I think.
Missing a photo.
Dead photos. Gotta fix that.
2 dead photos. Yeah.
Gotta fix that.
I would like to see that get a free estimate button bigger, but you know how I am about big buttons.
Oh yeah, you like them and you cannot lie.
Nope.
So I don't know if I need back-to-back galleries here. This might be redundant. A little bit more about the company. I think this is the same video from the top. So if we're gonna use the video, let's use it once. Our services. Here we go. Now we can actually see what kind of stuff you put in. Pet friendly.
I'd like to see that higher up.
The grid is cool. I like the alternating colors. It's definitely eye-catching.
It is. Is it just my old eyes, or is the white a little bit harder to read on the pink, and the top left and top right are seemingly bolded in the body versus the lower 3 are not?
That would be accurate. Typically when we use pink, we try to put black over pink, unless you're using a much darker pink color. So, but it's not terrible. It's not terrible. It is a little small. No. I like to see a bigger font. Some good reviews here. And these reviews are being loaded in by a tool, which is most likely doing review schema markup, which is great. Very helpful.
Nice.
Your locations where you serve. Fantastic. Are these clickable? No, they are not. So some location pages could be a really quick and easy win from an SEO perspective. And then I get here to the bottom. No bottom nav. No jump back up to the top nav. That's it. I think that you could make the form a little bit more appealing by adding a field that says what kind of project I want. So you have this beautiful grid here of different services. Probably include those in a drop down in the form. Whenever you customize a form to the user, the likelihood of them engaging with it goes up because they feel like they're getting more information through on the form than just contact me.
Right.
Checking out more services. Oh, now we have a full nav bar at the top.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Probably need to get that over on the homepage.
Yes.
The quicker you can get people to information, the better. Oh, yes. Yes. I love this. So you have all
Well,
of your services on one page. And Mitch knows exactly where I'm going with this. These each need their own page on your website.
mhm.
If you can take these and break these out to individual pages, your SEO is going to go way up. Your organic traffic is going to go way up because when you break up concepts to Google into individualized, more focused pages, it gives Google a more specific answer that it can send people to. Now, there is some trickery you can do with design to make this work on one page, but it's much easier just to make separate pages. Yes, I would definitely break these up if you can. And then obviously making a page specific to landing on each of these locations as well. So you have a Miami turf page, a Fort Lauderdale turf page, so on and so forth.
Yes.
Also, from an ads perspective, having individual service pages makes your job a lot easier.
Oh, 100%. It makes everything much more relevant and you get better, like just on a Google side. If you're running Google ads, which I assume that they, would be, gives you better ad rank, which Google wants that because it's better user experience and the keywords are on there and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, just some spacing and design issues here. Everything else has been what's in called a boxed layout, which is where you have a kind of an
Hmm.
individual or a invisible edge to your site, and now you've got text going side to side at full width. So just make that more consistent. I like that you lay out all the products. All of these specification blocks, they're an image, so you're not getting any SEO value from all of these specification blocks, which could be really good.
Hmm.
And again, because there's no jump up to the top, I'm missing some bottom nav.
You do like bottom
I do
nav,
like bottom nav quite a bit. It's a catch-all. If you get to the bottom, at least I can still go somewhere. Let's check out the free estimate page.
maybe.
Is it? I don't know that this button works.
That could be a problem.
Could definitely be losing you some leads there if that's not working. So definitely fix that button. And that brings us to the end of our 7 minutes.
Hope it was as good for them as it was for
Oh
us.
man, I feel great. Well, thanks so much for tuning in today. Hopefully, you get a chance to follow this program, this podcast on your favorite platform, whether that's Apple or Spotify or even on YouTube. Go follow us on YouTube. Mitch, where can I find you?
All over the interwebs, on the line as Beardpreneur.
Excellent, excellent. And you can
Mm.
find me anywhere you want to go as the Wizard Marketing. Please do hit us up if you need any help with your SEO, paid ads, websites, whatever it might be. We bring all of that to the table with our agencies. Or if you want to do it yourself, but you need a little bit of help, please do join our mastermind at
Mm.
teachme4m.com. Teachme, the number 4m.com, and join us on a weekly basis to get, personalized marketing advice.
And you can call me old every single week.
And I do. And I
Yep.
do. All right. Well, thanks so much for tuning in. Catch you next week.
Peace.